expect $250,000. Yeah, it's some leap, and it's going to focus a few minds as the week goes on for sure. Here we go then. Anggito and Gnadeberg with the lag.
I'm not sure of Anggito's age. It can't be much. But I know Gnadeberg is 17 years old, I believe. Pretty fast player overall. Or at least he dusted me off at the UK Open quickly, I'll tell you. I did help him out a bit, but he played pretty well also. So a lot of talent on that table we're about to sweat.
Here we go then, once again a race to 9. The loser is eliminated.
Okay, he did get the one down. He's going to have a shot at the blue too. There is some distance, but normally whenever the cue ball comes one rail past the side, you rarely make the one. But of course, different speeds make all the difference.
Say Jeffrey Agnacio has won 9-3.
Yeah, nice opener there from distance. That always makes you feel good. I did bring one, but you wouldn't think you'd need a jacket here in Saudi.
No, well, put it this way, when you step outside the venue, you don't need one.
No.
It's just indoors.
But you do need to go out to warm up here and there, I'll tell you. Especially, you know, when as players, when your adrenaline gets going, your body's going to try and keep you warmer, right? I mean, that's just how it works. And you can actually tend to sweat from the cold as well. Okay, just speed control here, coming 2 cushions. Oh, he played it pretty perfect, it looks like. So it should be a fairly quick break and run here from Alvin after a really nice opening 2-ball.
Every month, this Airbnb pays me in semi-passive income. Now, here's the thing. I don't own it and I don't pay any rent. It doesn't even matter where you live, even if you're in a boring little town where almost no one travels to. And if you think I'm in here every single day, changing sheets, cleaning up after people, and messaging people on the app all day long, think again. So the question is this: how did I do it? Through a new method called Airbnb co-listing in conjunction with Zillow. Let me show you how it works. Step number 1, go to Zillow.com and type in your city. Step number 2, click on a property that's for rent. This property has been sitting on Zillow for the last 42 days, which means that the landlord is losing money and needs your help. Step number 3, copy the address. Step number 4, paste the address into the Airbnb Analyzer app and click this big blue button. The Airbnb Analyzer app shows this property can potentially generate 2.5 times the long-term rental rate. You can plug into an existing property like this, and once you automate a few easy tasks, I'll show you how to rinse and repeat and add 2 or 3 more of these income streams every single month. Now, I know that's a lot to take in, but check this out. I've got 24 of these generating a semi-passive cash flow every single month. That's more than I used to make in 3 years working full time. And if you want some extra cash on the side, this is exactly what you've been looking for. And guess what? You found it at the perfect moment in history. I'll explain more on the next page, but Airbnb is going gangbusters in every state, every city, and every town all across America. So what are you waiting for? Click anywhere around this ad right now, and on the next page, you'll find a concise A to Z video training that takes you into every nook and cranny of this opportunity. In just 26 minutes, you'll also learn how my system works, how to plug into an existing property. Heads up though, I don't plan on keeping up this training forever. So if you're serious about potentially creating a second income stream and maybe a third one, you want to do it now, quickly and easily, don't put this off. Click right now. Watch the free training. I think you'll love what you're about to learn, and I'll see you on the inside.
like the technique of both these players. Really fluid with the stroke. They don't get too short with it. Very long through the ball. One thing I always talk about with players is you got to look at, you know, all these players are so talented. When they get in the practice room, you can almost make anything work. You know, you got to really look at what holds up under pressure. And these types of techniques we're going to see from these two players, which are actually going to be fairly similar, those are the ones that do hold up, I believe.
Well, very confident start this.
Carlo Beato got it to 7-5, but it looks like he scratched on the break in the 13th game. So Dang with ball in hand and a bit of pressure to get to the hill.
Yeah, great start that from Anggito. Any match, you're just looking to settle in, show your opponent how good you're feeling. This is very interesting. We had earlier on, of course, AJ from the Philippines, who was, because only 17, he beat John Morrow, but that was youth v experience. This is youth v youth. They'll both be really raring to put on a show tonight. Let's hope they both do. Could be a great match. David Al-Qaedi now 6-1 in front, and Niels Fearn has just started. He's won the first rack against Ahmad Zahid.
Yeah, and David, of course, a veteran now, 45 years old, I believe, and I thought the table set up really well for him this week. So nice rebound so far in his second match after an opening loss, and we'll see what he can do with it from there. Of course, can't quit on this one. Got to finish this one off before he can move forward and play again tomorrow evening. Tomorrow's schedule, of course, we'll have the winners qualification, and whoever unfortunately loses those matches will go on to pair up with the winners of tonight's matches. So lots to happen before that final 64 is put together. Again, drawing the cue ball one rail past the side is something I very rarely see, and still pocket the one. He's done it both of the first two games. He's got a kiss shot off the 2 into the red 3 in the side. Pretty natural. Usually you can level out and really get the feeling of that shot. Now the concern is where the 2 is going and where the cue ball's going, maybe after kissing the 3 in. I like these shots myself, but again, it's all about experience and have you played them. Oh, he's looking at the combination. That looks really tough. I mean, it is playable, but now the thing is, what about the speed? Normally, if you play it light, you normally hit this a bit too thick. Yeah, like that. And you overcut the 3. Kind of pulled the trigger pretty quickly when he got down, though, I thought, David. You know, a fast player, but when you're down on the ball, you usually take a few more of those practice swings. Our first look at Karl after a break and run to open.
Well, I think it sort of felt good, I think, that, but it didn't drop.
They kind of got up off of it just because they know that it wasn't exactly perfect, but you know, he's young, right? And I played him and actually had the lead early, just a few games, and he had made a couple mistakes, and I made a couple clearances, but you know, I saw a little frustration at times from him, and you know, it's something that a lot of players have to play through and learn how to deal with in this sport.
I'm guessing you needed a jacket in Telford a few weeks ago.
It wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, actually. Yeah, we actually got out and played a little golf the week before that in Scotland, so I was at the Scottish Open as well. that thick. And it looks like Carlo has put the cues up. Dang Junhui is taken down former world 9-ball champion, former U.S. Open champion. Carlo Beato has exited this 2024 event. We talked about it at the start. You know, there's players that when they get going are as dangerous as any, and Dang is definitely one of them.
I think the last racket was a golden break that finished it.
Yeah, I was wondering how quick it was, but try to keep an eye on all those tables as much as possible. And looks like Skylar Woodward has gone on to win. Expect a close one here between these two, much different than our last match.
Should be one each. Had that miss earlier on, but in the end, not costly. Yeah, they're both up for it, which is great. Let's hope it is competitive. Good to see two players who we may well be watching for many years yet at the top level. And of course, just to remind you, there is a junior event as well. That's being played in this arena, that's part of this World Championship, which again will no doubt provide the odd champion of the future. Going to be fascinating to see as the money goes up, which is going to go quite sharply as the week goes on, what effect that has on people, because obviously there's enough pressure anyway. You're trying to win a big tournament, but you wouldn't be human if you didn't think of that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and you're probably going to be reminded. We're going to be on stage talking about it, or you know, who knows what's going to go on with it. But you think about it. You know, for a spell I played a bit of poker in some of those online tournaments, big tournaments, and in person, and you know, made a run in a couple of them with. Where you get big jumps, you know, you're amazing how big the jumps are. But you know, just to think about that final, you're going to play one race to 15 for 150,000, and exponentially is probably worth triple that when it comes to everything else involved, you know, past this tournament. So,
and in your mind, you're thinking that new car I've been thinking of getting, or that holiday that I was going to go on. You're sort of plotting it out, aren't you? You wouldn't be human if you didn't think of that.
Yeah, I really liked, you know, there were some questions about the money and what would you do if you won it, and at the press conference. Really liked Pia Filler's answer as far as investing in your future. Love that. Of course, some of the guys were joking around. She's all business. Suspecting she takes care of the finances between her and Josh. Get Josh a Happy Meal here and there. He's a McDonald's guy, you know, like, I think it's McDonald's, Nutella, and that's about it.
Well, we passed one on the way from the airport, so he'll be okay here in Jeddah.
Yeah, he's okay in most of the world. Okay. Wasn't easy, but definitely a favorite to make that blue 2 after the missed safety from Gnadeberg. They're showing some stats on the big screen, and the first one is really the difference, and one that, dang, if he can keep that, he may be taking home that 250. 50% break and runs, which I don't know how do you get 50% out of 9 games, but well, I guess he probably didn't break first is what it was.
Yeah.
But still, that's pretty incredible. Talk about it all the time, or of late, just because it just happened, but ever since it has, the most amazing stat to me, especially the man who did it, was Josh Filler at the Whirlpool Master Final against Fedor Gorst. In a race at 13, he broke and ran 7 racks and still lost the match.
Wow.
13-12, of course.
Yeah. Wow.
And since we've changed the rules here on the World 9-Ball Tour, the finals have been just incredible. We've had several hill matches in the finals, and just all kinds of drama.
Well, you like to think come Saturday it might be the same. I mean, imagine going down. It's first to 15, isn't it? 14 each for. I mean, already the runner-up will get plenty, but for the $250,000 first prize. Anyway, that's all to come. Gnadeberg had a chance there, missed 3.
That's one of the only things I would maybe mention to him is nothing wrong with putting some pace on balls, right? But you tend to lose a little accuracy as far as hitting the cue ball, and you don't want to baby balls, of course, but there's that nice little bit lighter speed, I think, that really would sit well with Gnadeberg is also on certain shots. The 9 is the one that scares me sometimes with the players. They really like to pump that 9 in with authority, and until you miss a couple of those because of it, you may not recognize you're taking a little chance. We got young Sam Henderson against Bernie Regulario, 2 of the young guns in the game and 2 future bright stars of the future, and coming up on the TV table. So Bernie, quite the opposite of Sam, wasn't very competitive in his first match, and Sam lost a very close one.
Yeah, I was talking to Sam's mother the other day, and she was telling me about the experience she'd had on the British railway network, which was not necessarily a happy one. But anyway, she managed to make it from London to Telford for that UK Open. Yeah, they're coming up shortly on the main table.
Yeah, I think the underground, I like it, actually. I mean, I don't have to use it that often when I'm there. Usually, have some type of someone taking us around, or I have some friends there that I hang out with quite a bit. But I think the main thing about the underground is don't get run over by the people. That's the main thing.
Well, it's not quite like an express train that start this, but he's 2-1 in front. Yeah, the underground's great. It's when you try and get on a train to get out of London that the problems tend to start. But anyway, that's for another day maybe. We're watching a very interesting match here between 2 youngsters, and yeah, it's great. The international field, of course, it's great to hear the different stories from the different countries, and the different experiences people have had, all for the common cause of coming here to play pool. Of course, some have had to travel further than others. And also hearing about the pool scene, the Q Sports scene in the different countries. Estonia, actually, where Gnadeberg is from, they've had a snooker professional, Andres Petrov. He was on the tour for 2 years, just dropped off. But he played, his first tournament was the British Open in Milton Keynes, and the Estonian ambassador to Britain came to watch. That's how big a deal it was. He came to watch because he was recognising, one of his own was doing well in a high-profile sport. So it just shows if you can do well in these sports, you can elevate the sport, you can elevate yourself, but also you can elevate your country, and hopefully, inspire others to start playing. He's not here tonight, as far as I know. Bit of a long way to travel, maybe.
That would have been a trip.
So 2-1 to Anggito.
Man, we'll see again. If he draws the cue ball 1 rail past the side again, that means he's playing it. That's more of the look you want. Cue ball zigzagging across. Doesn't have much of an offensive play. Now he could go for the bank cross corner. Understanding he has a ton of blockers with the pink and then the 5 and 7 that are grouped near the cue ball, and bring the cue ball all the way down for shape on the red 3, playing a 2-way. He decided to play just the cue ball. I think he can get at this. Not sure how much of it he can see, but definitely has some of it. May play a real first shot. And that's usually what happens with the rail first shot. It's very hard to hang the ball with the 2 coming in from that angle. So it usually goes in or it escapes the pocket and comes back out. And the main thing is what he did there, recognizing playing it with a bit of speed. Ball needs to travel a bit more. These young players will realize when they go look where they want the cue ball, they almost hardly ever miss their mark on that type of shot. It's usually when you just look at it from the top of the table, you kind of assume you're going to get where you want and just don't detail the brain enough. Looks like a very good hit there. Not a whole lot of cover here. The cue ball and the 2 should, no, didn't even hit the 2 first, so ball in hand.
Yeah, just got to make sure he finishes on this 5. It's a bit of a narrow gap.
I'll tell you, Demetrius Lakatos was down 6-1. He's put 2 in a row, 6-3. Much more of a match. Ogioi in a close one. He is up 8-6 though. Does it appear he has to go forward here? Maybe play the brown in the left middle. Yes, he got there. Very natural.
Just composing himself here, of course, had ball in hand. So the chance was there. And the chance has been taken. Nicely done. This match shaping up well in the early stages. At 2-2.
Yeah, these players fighting for every ball. I really think this is going to be a close one. With opportunity given to both.
Yeah, they're underweight on table 1. Sam Henderson and Bernie Regolaro. That is, of course, available to watch in various places. You can watch table 2 as well. And we'll try and keep you up to date with the various matches that are going on. John Morrow, who was beaten, of course, earlier on in a bit of a thriller, is about to play his match in this losers first round. Hard to really say at the moment how this is going to pan out. It may be close all the way. Not much between them in terms of the weights gone. Just the odd error contributing. 2-2 it is. Gnadeberg to break here.
Yeah, of course, they're both young, so we don't have years of eyes on them. But from what I have watched, it kind of shapes up to one of those matches. You know, whoever plays more of their game is probably going to win, and that's the kind of matches we want to sweat. Looks like Bernie is on the 8-9 to get that first rack. That is the TV table. Pretty much coverage all around the world. Push out here from Alvin. Not sure what he's going to play here. This is difficult no matter what. Yeah, I was going to say he was trying to get super thin, which again, the push out, you always want to give yourself a chance to get it back. We talked about that earlier, but you don't want to put yourself in a position when you push out it's just an obvious return from your opponent. Should be able to hold the ball here for the pink in the right middle. That'd make things easy. Type of match we may see 4 or 5 lead changes, really.
Yeah, it's going to come down, as it often does, I guess, to who can sort of hold it together if it is close towards the end. With everything on the line at the moment, they're sort of jockeying for position.
Yeah, I agree with you, David. Just kind of like we always talk about back in the day, that it's nice to have that incredible match or play really well, but if you could just play 5 or 10% underneath your top speed, that wins a lot of matches. You could see easy cue power. It's not super tall like his countryman Dennis Gray, but rather long. Definitely long with the stroke.
Well, similar to the previous rack, he had the chance and presented with the chance and took it out nicely. So looking good at 3-2. They're both showing good signs so far. Both competing well in what, of course, is a big, big night. The chance to stay in the event. And I do think, I said it earlier, I do think for the younger players, to be around the experienced players, that's just such a golden experience to, you're here as part of the tournament, the real big hitters are in. You get maybe a chance to speak to them, be around them, and it's got to encourage you and inspire you to work harder and harder to try and, get to that status yourself. And one day you'll be the star that the young lads are looking at.
Yeah, in America, of course, prior to playing tournament pool, you'd find a great player to go on the road with, spend some time with, and whether it be a little bit of action here and there or just some regional tournaments, but just those little things here and there that you can't really describe or pinpoint that are so subtle but are so effective as well. And I really think overall we've seen a better pool today than we did yesterday. I think yesterday was a very long day for the players in anticipation of the start of this event. Of course, they wanted to get as much practice in, probably arriving early and some playing very late. Now they can kind of schedule it a little bit better and get on with things. And I think from here on out we're going to see just a lot of quality for the most part.
Yeah, I'm sure that's right. I'm sure whoever wins this title is going to have to play some seriously good stuff along the way and hold their nerve as well. There'll be moments where they'll have to recover, moments of sort of mini crisis they'll have to pull themselves out of. And that is, of course, the test in any sport, is when the chips are down, how you respond.
Yeah, we were talking about Josh Filler, and he's going to be near us soon because old wifey's about to tee it off on the one-loss side. Pia Filler. Can't quite see if she plays. Of course, we'll let you know here in a moment. But I'll tell you, I don't recall her going 2 and out in any of these events. Now, it may have happened, but the big 256 field events we have, I think she's done pretty solid overall. Wow, Naoki Oi, Hill with Talal. How blue she? It's always a sweater on table 10.
Yeah.
You ever got to watch Naoki at all? I mean, what a fan favorite he is. He's just incredible.
Yeah, a bit of a one-off.
Yeah.
Great character. Great player.
Great player, yeah. He had a run a couple years ago for about 1.5 years to where it seemed like he was in the semis of every tournament. U.S. Open, World Championships. Did not matter. Demetrius Lukatis got another back. Trailing 6-1, now 6-4 with David Alcady. Hills Fan off 4-1 in his match.
Yeah, Alvin Ocean 3-0 up. Of course, he lost that thriller on table 10 earlier.
Didn't notice who Alvin was playing.
It's Khalid Al-Tobi.
Okay. Yeah, and Alvin, it hadn't been his best overall. We talked about it earlier, the Vietnam. He really made a showing there to, I think, make that team. I know that's hard to imagine leaving him off. We'll make that Mosconi team, and then a very, very good Mosconi Cup. I think him or Jason Shaw could have won the MVP right along with Filler, who did win it. But it's been a struggle overall for Alvin besides that. It used to be when he would win these tournaments, he'd still struggle early, but really get it going. It seems he may be a bit more on track here in the one-loss side. Oh, he's missed the 9. Who was it playing? Oi? Ablushi? Had a chance to win. He's missed the 9 at Hill.
Well, there is something about that table, so yeah. Naoki Oi knocks it in, and he's the winner, 9-8. Wow, what a finish.
Yeah, Blondie this week. Naoki Oi. That used to be the interviews. Now we just love to see him play. Bernie Regulario out to a 2-0 lead over Sam Henderson. Stitched up here on the table we're on, that's Alvin. Trails by a game 3-2 with Karl Gnadeberg. In a bad position here on the red 3 though. It's got to be the 2-rail kick. Oh, he's coming this way. I thought he would kick more where he's standing now, 2 rails at the 3. This is a much more awkward. You don't get as much feeling just because the 3's behind you. It's not in that peripheral vision, right? You always have a choice, you know, and you feel like the kicks are somewhat even in percentage-wise. You always want to go where you can see the ball. You know, it's almost like with ball in hand. If you have a choice, you always want to go forward with the cue ball if you can instead of drawing the cue ball. It's just always going to be more accurate.
Well, speaking of ball in hand, this is the 3rd rack now where Gnadeberg has had exactly that.
Yeah, you see, you didn't notice it there maybe. Of course, I played him at the UK Open, so I saw a lot of it because he did a lot of shooting in our match. But a little a la Michael Jordan as he goes to dunk the ball, the mouth is wide open. Most of the time, anyways. Yeah, last year's runner-up. What a match that's about to kick off. Sufi against Loho Sum. Loho Sum made some noise in the Whirlpool Masters a couple years ago and really made some noise in a few tournaments after that. He was runner-up to Josh Filler, and I had a chance to win in that final. It was really competitive. But I think he's actually improved since then, even though hadn't had quite the results. That's how tough it is out here. Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one because it's a little thinner than I think that the TV shows us here, and it's not the type you want to roll. You could get a bit of a kick on the ball, so you may put a little more speed and get a little thinner on the 9 than desired, but it's all about the 6 at the moment. I like that speed much better. And he actually held it really nice.
3rd rack where he's had ball in hand and gone on to win the rack. So history repeating itself, and for the first time there's a 2-rack gap between the players. Karl Gnadeberg presses on to 4-2, giving that man a little bit to think about. Yeah, he's I like the look of him at the table. He has that air of determination, that air of confidence. Every player has their own style. Some players look relaxed, they don't give anything away. Others, you can see it means absolutely everything to them. And you get to pick up these sort of visual clues in individual sports, of course, where you're not part of a team. And also you get to see in Q Sports the guy in the chair. You know, we saw a couple of matches earlier, certainly the one we did earlier, where the player who was beaten eventually 9-0, he was sort of sinking into the seat as the night went on, just couldn't really make anything happen. Al-Qaedi now 7-4 up, so the little mini comeback for now has been stalled. So Gnadeberg 4-2, race to 9 this.
Fortunate on the cue ball. Of course, it's always a kiss, but it did catch a lot of the pocket, and now the 1 I think is cut off, and this becomes a very difficult push out Anytime the ball's near the pocket, you can't roll out to an easy kick, you can't roll out to an easy jump, and certainly nothing somewhat straight at the one. So it's just going to open up, get the cue ball off the knuckle. Now, is there a path to be able to do something here? Is he just going to kick underneath the 2 and try and rest the cue ball on the 1? Maybe turn it into somewhat of a tactical battle. Well, that's the thing. You can't push out there without a plan, right? I mean, that's kind of how the push out's designed, and that's why you get 60 seconds after the break, is so you can put a little thought into it. Of course, these are young players. So not trying to be harsh by any means, but definitely explaining it. Now it looks like he's got a little bit of a chance to kick between the 6 and 9 and go to the rail by the 7 and nip the 1 in. So I think he's a little underdog doing it, but this could get away as well. This takes a deft touch. Oh, that might scratch. Yeah, I already fouled the 2, so.
Well, it's ball in hand for a 4th time for Gnadeberg. Sort of,
in 4 games.
Yeah, so it's just almost Groundhog Day here.
Yeah, one of my favorite comedies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I knew we'd get on, Jeremy. I knew we'd get on. Great film.
Yeah, Bill Murray's awesome. The whole cast, I love the whole cast, really. And like the movie itself, I've watched it many times. Seems like that one and My Cousin Vinny.
All right.
As soon as those 2 are on, it's hard to change the channel.
Well, Gnadeberg hoping to star in his own movie this week.
Yeah, they're showing the drone footage on the TV right now from earlier. Pretty incredible what they could do with those drones. And kind of unfair, really. We were kids. It was like we had to make a paper airplane.
That's the other thing, of course, a lot of these guys I know I was looking at earlier on, Karl Gnadeberg, he's got his Instagram very proudly, sort of putting pictures up of what he's done so far.
He's really settled in with the cueing. Of course, ball in hand doesn't hurt, but even shots throughout the rack, it seems like he's been pretty on point. Speed control, the timing of the swing looks very good. I'm glad he made that one. I don't know if the cue ball is going to be any good, but after, putting it on him there, but and maybe just kind of dug into it a little more than he expected. Now here, for instance, right? This is another example. The 8 is closer to that pocket, but it still requires a very accurate hit to make it. Where if you're kicked the other way, you really get a lot more feeling because the 8's in your visual, right? So, and speed control and all that. So a lot of times I like to kick actually to the short side 2 rails and maybe try and kick it in the lower right and get some separation coming up the table with the cue ball like this, where he's standing now. And I think that's a prime example of it. I mean, hard pressed, if he kicks the other way, you figure he misses the 8.
Well, that's a bit of a plot twist right there. Yeah, just checking, he didn't. Getting it cleaned, yeah. So, of course, he's given away ball in hand 4 times, but he's got it himself, just 2 pots. And this big moment there, he was heading for 5-2. If he gets on the 8, he surely wins the rack. Gnadeberg, but he didn't. So this is given Anggito real lifeline in this match, just to keep in touch at 4-3. And for Gnadeberg now, he's got to get out of his mind, and it's, of course, it's not easy what happened, because that was turning into a bit of a procession the way he was playing. He was feeling good, he was looking good. One shot turned it, and yeah, as I say, the work has got to be done in that chair now, just getting over it. Alcadi 8-4 now, so one away from victory. It's 3-0 to Ragalerio on the main table against Sam Henderson. And for the people in the arena here, they obviously choose which match to watch. You can walk around watching what you like, but there's a big screen showing the main table to keep on top of that one. But here, a very interesting match developing. Could easily have been 5-2. It's 4-3.
Nice long ball there. I kind of feel like the 3 may squeeze between the 6 and the 5, but whew, has to be awfully tight. Can't do a whole lot with the cue ball because there's not much angle and near the rail. So he's going to elevate and try and stun. Easy to miss this one. Wow, he's going to be behind the 7 though. So you wouldn't say a lot of mistakes, really, just kind of like the cue ball's gotten away at the last couple games. Hitting the ball nicely still. Just a couple snookers.
Yeah, I mean, there's not been many balls missed, as you say. It's just sort of position that's been maybe an issue.
Good effort. He wants that to travel a bit. It's going to rest near the rail and a bit thin, so Alvin's going to have to make a nice play up and down the table, it appears, or at least up and back to the middle for some type of cut on the purple 5.
Oh, he's crashed again. It's a ball in hand again. Well, this is the 5th rack now where Karl Gnadeberg has had this. He's won 3 of the previous 4. Should have won the 4th. But once again, he can put that cue ball where he likes. Just caught the 8, deflected into that corner pocket. And a great chance to make amends for not killing off the last rack, but what a thing to keep happening for Alvin Anggito.
get the feeling, David, that Gnadeberg's not going to miss, right? It's just all really about the cue ball, it seems to me, and pretty dialed in as far as pocketing the ball, and that's the number one thing in 9-ball pool. Usually going to play some type of position, and now a 2-game lead.
Yeah, and the fact that he's not missing means the fact he keeps getting ball in hand is what's creating these chances. That's 5 times now, 4 racks he's won from that very scenario. So he moves back into a 2-rack lead, 5-3. Whizzing along, fair old speed as well this match. But yeah, Anggito keeps on, fortunately for him, presenting him with the opportunity.
Yeah, we'll give you a few scores. Of course, Bernie out to a 3-0 lead. Not really sure if Sam's got to pocket a ball in that match, besides the break in the opener where he did make the one. Gnadeberg, of course, 2-game lead here at 5-3. Gangflot 2-0 over Ahmed Al-Jabbar. Alvin Ocean 4-1 over Khalid Al-Altobi. Jeremy Sosay, New York, USA, up 4-1 over former runner-up of this event just a few years ago, Omar Al-Shaheen. Niels Fayen, former world champion, up 5-1 over Ahmed Zahid. And Jeffrey Rhoda trails 8-6 against Hamza Ali. David Alcades pushed onto the hill, up 8-4 over Dimitris Lukatis. Tobias Bongers, who had an incredible UK Open, really had a lot of big wins, and I believe made it to the final 8, if I remember correctly. Up 4-3 over Hussein Maroon. Patrick Gonzalez of the Philippines up 6-0 over Fahad Al-Harbi. Georgi Georgiev up 2-1 over DJ McGinley. John Moore 3-0 outrunning over Othman Al-Zaharni. Muhammad Sufi up 2-1 over Loho Sum. And Pia Filler up 1-0 over Fahad Al-Hayin. Excuse me. Keep you updated with those scores as best possible. Okay, easy to scratch on this kick shot. It's an angle that really promotes the scratch. Oh, he went way wide. Of course, these are young players, so a little more experience as they get along with these kick shots and safeties, the tactical side of the game. Just from some things that have developed, David, I mean, you kind of feel like Gnadeberg should have a bigger lead, right? I mean, and, you know, we're 5 or 6 shots away from a 5-4 match, and what should be a close one.
Yeah, it feels like he's made all the running, but, you know, things can change, and even going back to the 7th rack, where, of course, he could have gone 5-2, just made a positional error. Could come back to haunt him a little bit. Could have had a really good lead by now.
Gonna check this with just a little left English, little inside spin.
Well, the story of the match really is players getting ball in hand, and on this occasion it was Alvin Anggito, and he took full advantage of it. 5-4, and it just feels like it could end up another close one here. Yeah, Gnadeberg, as I say, has made a lot of the running in this match, but just can't quite get really clear in it. And it's not missing balls, it's just a few other errors tactically, I guess, that have contributed.
Yeah, he snookered himself a couple times. You know, that was a big one to go up 3 or 4 games, I think, from the 7 to the 8. And then he whiffed the kick, gave up ball in hand with 8 and 9.
Alvin Ocean now 5-1 up against Karl Taipei. Table 10, the next match there, Imran Majid against Tim de Ruyter. That nailed on to be 8-all, it would seem. That's what you get on table 10.
Been pretty successful with the one on the side in this match. He's had a variety of ways of getting it down as far as the cue ball path, but it's like a win's a win, right? If you make it, you make it. Get on with it. Got a funny one here on the blue too. He is thin. Does he have a 3-rail path between the 4-9 and back around the back of the 6, the green 6? It looks fairly natural. Just got to command the speed. He's overcut this. He's going to need some help. He pulled the trigger a little quicker again when he got down on the ball than I'm used to seeing from him. Same thing happened earlier. This speed may hurt. This speed may hurt. Oh my.
It's amazing, isn't it? All that space to get on the 3.
Yeah, I don't even know if he can get to the rail here by the 7. This is close. If he can't, it's going to be pretty awkward cueing where you can't get a whole lot of speed kicking elsewhere. Could kick straight across off the long rail, the left long rail.
Well, at the risk of repeating myself, ball in hand. It just keeps happening, doesn't it?
Yeah. They like each other. We're returning the favors here and there. Okay, still some work. The first 3 shouldn't be a problem. The 3, 4, and 5. But the green 6 to the brown 7. That's some work, and then back up table to the 8. And he's going to be queuing over the 9. And again, very important, not only to be not too far away from the green 6, but you don't want to get too thin. You can handle a little angle for sure, but you don't want to have to go forward off the 6 with the 8 and 9 impeding. And he's going to get a lot of angle. He may still be able to draw one rail by the 9. I think it's still playable. Definitely missable though, and this is where, you know, say he overdraws this and gets a little flat, a little straight and near the cushion with the cue ball, the 7 to the 8 could be troublesome. Nice strike. Pretty good speed overall. He's got to come a little to the short side. Just play it real natural up the right side of the table. One of the most awkward shots. You have a tendency to drive it into that bottom cushion a little bit. It's a real awkward kind of cueing on top. Yeah, that's the knuckle that most people miss too, and it's like when you're coming across, you don't quite get through the ball as well, and you create just a little kick on the 8. He's certainly not aiming that thick. You just end up with that result. And I'm speaking from experience, David.
So Gnadeberg with the chance for 6-4. That may well not have come. It's been quite a dramatic match, this, one way and another. And he's just holding him off at the moment. Anggito can't quite get level. So 6-4, Gnadeberg delighted to get the chance. I think he's going to just leave the arena briefly, so we will pick up in due course. It's 5-0 now to Ragalario on the main table, so it's very one-sided there. Yeah, we'll pick up when he returns. He's just left the arena, so don't go anywhere. The match will resume very shortly. just avoided the scratch there. Cue ball came close to this corner pocket, but didn't go in. But it's a long way from the 1. Cue ball in the jaws. Ooh, and just avoided the scratch there. This could be good though. This could be very good. He just acknowledges he got a little fortunate where the cue ball's finished. Just crept in behind the 5. Say that, is there any edge at all here? I'm gonna have to slightly swerve it. Yeah, it's not finished good for Anggito.
Got a bit of a choice here. Most would check it with a little inside. Could come around with outside English as well. And they're fairly close to the ball. A little preference. Made that look easy. Really controlled the speed nicely. And looks like Sam Henderson has finally gotten on the board there on the TV table. Now it trails 5-1. A 9-ball for what would seem like a stranglehold on this match, even only a 3-game lead. That's 7-4.
Yeah, he got a little lucky in that rack. He just flicked that snooker on the 1, and from the escape, Anggito left it. Pressure gathering on him now because, of course, Gnadeberg just 2 away. It's been an eventful match, a lot happening. Not many sort of potting mistakes, not many balls missed, but just on the tactical side, and a little bit of luck playing its part as well. This was the winning 9 in that latest rack. So, can he press on? 7-4. He's looked confident all night. A few things have gone wrong, but overall, pretty accomplished performance.
Yeah, he's going to love this. Maybe not exactly how he hit the rack. It's funny, you watch the referee. He got in there and grabbed that template before the cue ball was even stopped moving. He's a bit anxious as well. And there's a lot of pressure for those refs, you know. I mean, they don't get enough credit, and not saying it's always perfect, of course. It's hard to be perfect, but you know, they want everything to be good for the players. They don't want, you know, anyone to feel like one thing or another cost them. And you know, it takes a little experience on that end as well. These couldn't set up any nicer, really. Not a whole lot of cue ball movement in this rack at all. I think one day we'll have a GPS on the cue ball, and that'll show us. Because really, if you have to work the rock a lot, that tells you a lot about how difficult the racks are. This one here hasn't had to move much at all. Just got to float it a little bit. Maybe a drag stroke.
Oh, wow. Just hung on and didn't drop.
That wouldn't have been the 9th game and the winning ball, but you kind of feel like it would have been essentially.
What's it going to do to him? Put it this way, if he doesn't win the match now, that's the shot he'll remember, for sure.
Trim to that 2-game lead again at 7-5, and you say what he's going to do after that. You know, what is Alvin going to do, really, right? I mean, that's that breath of fresh air. You get a chance to maybe break and run a few racks.
Well, has one shot turned this match? We'll see in due course. It may just be delaying the inevitable, we'll see, but it feels big right now.
Man, I'll tell you, you know, just thinking about what you said earlier, and of course we've talked about it all week at times, but different people. You know, there's a lot of talent. I just think about America that, you know, maybe doesn't put in as much time on the professional scene, but certainly could, and certainly would, you know, serve a lot of purpose for their game and have a lot of results. You know, it may take a little time to get used to it. Watch out for the cue ball. Wow, one thing after another. All kinds of different ball in hands in this match. But what I'm getting at is, and I can name probably 15 players that anywhere from the late 20s to maybe mid to late 30s in America that really, really top players, and I think would be, you know, I wouldn't say cream of the crop out here, but definitely could contend and only going to get better. And if they think about the 10-year contract of this Saudi Arabia, right, tournament, and here in the kingdom, and of course a huge purse and whatnot, but that just tells you what Matchroom's doing for all the events, and not just, they're not just going to solely think about this one. So
totally,
if you're willing to invest the time and maybe go through losing a few matches, maybe not having the profitable season that you want right from the get. I know I'd like to be about 30 right now playing.
Yeah, we heard Emily.
Or 30, period.
Well, absolutely. We heard Emily Fraser talking about the calendar, the packed calendar, and more to come for sure. This is only the start.
Yeah, there's, you know, smaller ranking events that promoters and whatnot that are beating down their door. Of course, a lot of countries that want to host major events. It's all about figuring out the logistics of it. But man, if you just think about that alone, though, that tells you how invested they are. All right, he's falling a little awkward. He's got the stroke to hold the ball, though. I think the way the table's playing, that's what I play here, is try to hold the ball versus stun back over. And it it was that pocket that got him on the brown 7 in the last. Yeah, that kill stroke, really nice there from Gnadeberg.
Yeah, like I say, you see a shot, you think it's a massive turning point, and then in the end you forget it. And Gnadeberg has done well here after failing to kill off that last rack. He's done well to take that one on the hill at 8-5 and looking good again.
I'm doing the math here in my head. I'm 53 years old. 10 years, I'll be 60. Nah, well, I don't know, but but seriously though, that's a serious thought of mine. I preach to some of these guys out here. You got to be willing to go through some of the tough times to really reap the rewards, and the sponsorship dollars these days compared to years ago are so much greater. I mean, if this is what you love and you have the talent, I don't know how you can't be striving for it. I don't know if it's a World 9-Ball Championship or not, or a U.S. Open, but could be. But I think Ralph Souquet, still practices hard as ever and keeps himself in shape, and I think he could have an outside chance at, maybe more than an outside chance if he gets going. They're going to scratch on the brakes, so we'll see what Alvin can put together, but he may put one together one week and get that adrenaline going and hoist one of these trophies. I think Ralph's 55 years old, 54, I think maybe. Oh, he's just a touch older than me. Looks like he can follow 2 rails out here. Doesn't have to draw the cue ball. Wants to get fairly heavy on the red 3. That way he can get into position on the pink 4. The pink 4 only has essentially 1 pocket. Just got to capture the speed. I think this is very awkward. I think he can go the cushion and just kind of 8-10 inch bounce. Oh, he had to put speed to come around. May have hit it too well. He's going to open up for the side, but the cue ball is going to rest near the rail. And I think the cue ball, the angle's going towards the bottom of the 9, so made really a nice hit on the pink 4. Just fell kind of tricky. Fortunate on the miss, but was a little unfortunate in the last shot, in my opinion. Tell you, Feder Gorst has got a rebound from not so good performance earlier. I think maybe the worst match I've ever seen him play, to be fair.
Yeah, it was a big surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah, now his opponent put some together, had a couple golden breaks, but Federer will tell you he opened those doors early, and just really all things. The break only broke a few times, of course, but after losing 9-3, but the break tactically he was off, speed control, he missed some balls. Look here, it pays to hit him. Our UK Open runner-up is in a one-loss side match against Nikos Kononopoulos, a very good player, like one of the top players from Greece, and trying to get his game back. That's Mieszko Fortunski, trails 2-0.
Well, meanwhile, that 5 has flown in, so Gnadeberg maybe with a chance here to get this one.
I think he's got to elevate. Can't go forward with the 8 and 9 there, I don't think, anyways. He's not elevating much, so he's kind of stunning the ball. Wow, how crisp was that? That's why I didn't think he could go forward really with the 8 and 9.
Well, it's another scratch. It's another ball in hand scenario. Funny old match this. Still, you get the feeling there might be more drama yet. He's obviously up against it here, but a chance to pull another one back for 8-6.
And again, Gnadeberg doesn't feel like he's going to miss a ball. It's just been the cue ball a few times, getting snookered and lost in a pocket.
Yeah, so as I say, a match full of incident and a match not over yet. 8-6. Alvin and Anggito still in there. Job Mora very much still in there. 7-1 up in his match, so we saw that thriller earlier, but looking much better here tonight. But that match is right in front of us where we're set.
Been pretty awesome with the one in the side. He needs it here again. Come away with a shot. Unfortunate kiss in his last break. Maybe another unfortunate kiss here. The one seemed pretty automatic this match for Alvin, though. And after that, it's just let a few things get away, but both of them have played pretty solid overall. It's just been the cue ball here and there and a couple little decisions, maybe a push out or two and another one here. Tell you, you may pass this one back. I was going to say, not saying it's super hard, but there's some gaps here, you know, and not a dead set, easy way to get a snooker. Is he going to use the purple here to hit the cue? Yeah, like that. Try to hold the cue ball. It's gotten away from him a bit. shot there. And he's got him really hemmed up. He may just have to go one rail to the top rail trying to split the 3 and 5. Otherwise, I really don't see a path. Can't tie anything up. There's not many balls he can shoot at, clearly. So this one here, you don't want to hit hard. You want to keep the accuracy here coming at it, especially with all this congestion. You're an underdog to hit it anyways. So if you do hit it, you want to utilize, the 3, 5, 7, 9, 4 there. So I think it, like a medium speed, straight up and down the table. You can get a pretty good feel for this one, even though it's difficult. Tried to bend it with a little check spin. Hard one to gauge.
Well, it was a terrific snooker that Anggito laid. So can he now take advantage? Got every chance. You would figure he was trying to open the 7 there. With ball in hand, the 7 locked on the 9 really only has the right middle. And with the 3 so available, it seemed like that was a pretty easy opening. So he's going to have to fall fairly full on the green 6 to follow down here in a couple shots. And he's hit that awfully light. Now falling heavy on the green 6 is a problem. Doable, but not easy. Little inside spin. Okay, now what? Does he go into the 7-9? Is there a kiss shot on the 9 off the 7? I kind of like going into him here. Maybe come across and play for the bank or a safety. Does the 7 go, or is something fooling me here? Doesn't appear so, right? Doesn't look like it.
I guess it does. Wow, the other camera angle I thought it was locked. Not locked on the 9, but definitely covered up. Evidently it goes. Been fooled before. Another great match coming up soon here on table 9. Abdul Al Yusuf, former semifinalist in the World Pool Championships, against one of the young talents from Herzegovina, Bosnia-Herzegovina. That being Sanjin Pelovanovic. But it seems you're right, David. More to come in this match.
Well, so many of these racks have involved a foul that's, of course, resulted in ball in hand. He was in trouble, it's got to be said. It was a nasty snooker he was in. Thanks to this man laying it, of course. So this is for 8-7. Yeah, it's an exciting match, full of incident, and the match, crucially for Alvin Anggito, continues. I understand, by the way, Fedor Ghost's match will be on this table after this one, as he attempts to bounce back from that defeat earlier on, which was completely unexpected.
Yeah, I talked to Federer a bit. The first couple days he was here and really had trouble sleeping. And he exited the building quickly after that loss. So I'm imagining maybe went back to the hotel to get a bit of rest. And he's got a guy that's talented from Vietnam. long duck thin. Loves to knock the ball in the back of the pocket. Occasionally gets a little loose with the cue ball, and again, trying to gain that experience, but you know, given chances, he'll certainly try to take you down. Did he come away with a look? I think he did. It's close anyways, the green 6. Maybe a little impeding. He's got a big pocket on the 2 somewhat though, I think. So you may see a jump shot, or oh no, he's got the full cue in his hand, so he likes what he sees. Really shocked he rolled that. Maybe he was trying to contact the 3 when he came across to hold position. I don't think he was playing the 2-7. It had to be the 2 ball. What's the 9 going to do here? He's got to get the 9 out of the way. Yeah, you have to think about the 9. Of course, these are youngsters and don't want to be hard on them. Just doing our job, right?
Well, that's been the story, hasn't it? It's just been little positional things that have happened that maybe they haven't foreseen that have caused things to get complicated.
Yeah, big favorite to make this. Wants to get 2 cushions. Oh, wow. That was much harder to do than making the ball. Decisions. Probably banks the 3 across towards the pink, trying to play the cue ball into the 9. Bit of a two-way shot. Could just go for the combination, but that'll be all out at it. And I like the percentage on the kiss shot. Looks really natural, just coming across the face of the red 3. It looks like he's left a little piece of the 3. I don't think it's pocketable. May be able to edge it and go 1 rail behind the green 6. He's going for shorty, jump cue. Is that another ball in hand? I'm sorry, Dave.
Yeah, no, it just almost felt meant to be something like that was going to happen, and here we are. Amazing how many racks this is happening.
Yeah, I think the 8 does squeeze by the 9, but it looks awfully tight, so still more work to do with the 6 up table. Maybe have to play a nice shot getting short side or the back side of the black 8 here in a few shots. Well, we had a whitewash in the last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Deserve the gamut here, every game. We love Hill anyways.
Absolutely, it's a match that promised much. It's delivered plenty. It's been full of intrigue, but the constant sort of fouls and ball in hand scenarios have made it particularly memorable, I think. First things first, though, get it to 8-8.
Yeah, he drew the ball quite a bit there on the 3. Well, he's gained the proper angle, the angle that makes it the easiest. Maybe could have used a hair more of an angle just to make usually your speed control a little better. Could come backside for the upper left or the lower right. Pretty good work there. Kind of squeezed it home.
Well, we didn't know at the start who would come through. We still don't. Hill it is. Wow, what a match it's turned into. And Alvin Anggito has dug in a little sort of puff of the cheeks there as he takes it the distance. And of course we'll have the break in the last rack. Two youngsters still learning various parts of the game, but very talented, the two of them. But it's been the fouls that have made, of course, the difference.
Well, you're not totally new to 9-ball pool, but I wouldn't say you're, a veteran of it, right, just yet. But we always say we rarely see a break and run when it's Hill. Almost always a push-out situation, it seems. One of the first ones I've seen was a break and run at the Whirlpool Masters Hill, and what an out it was by Fedor Gorst to take down that title against Joshua Filler, but just never seems to come about with the shot, whether you make a ball or not.
Well, just on that quickly, I said Gorst would be on this table. He's actually now going to be on the main table, so just to say if you want to watch his match, that'll be on our main coverage. But right now, here we go. Last rack.
Well, the one's been good to him. What's the green 6 gonna do? He's got to look. Now decisions. That's a bit of an angle here. I don't know if he can get fully at the 2 to just plant him right on the green 6. It's been a few of these nice safeties that has really brought Alvin back in this match. Does this ball leak out a little bit? He's swerving at it. Can't get a lot of speed swerving at it. I may have to go to the long rail, but yeah, the short rail here, I'm sorry. Between the 4-9. Alright, he's got a shot. Inches away from the cue ball with a 3 near. Got a little work from the 4-5. Not taking much time, but I think he can get at it. Played the safety. This is going to escape. So I guess he couldn't get at the ball. He's overdrawn this, trying to plant him on the back of the brown 7. Pretty nice strike there. Needs a little bit off the rail with the cue ball. He got a bit. So he's probably going to, I wouldn't say cinch this, but make an easy decision on the 3 and take a little distance on the pink 4. Try to really work the cue ball. You make it very missable.
Or we can ask that it's in your own hands, I guess. And it is, for Karl Gnadeberg, who's made the running in the match, had the lead, seen it completely wiped out.
Yeah, really about knocking in this purple, it seems. I mean, the 6-7's right there. You expect him to be close to those 2 balls, and working the cue ball back for the black 8, not a problem. So really about this medium kind of tough shot, just because it is hill. Nerves are high and there's a little distance. You gotta love the sound of the way the ball hits the back of the pocket, though. Don't get that in snooker too much. Well, a little thump, I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lovely sound, actually.
Yeah.
So just a couple of breaths here, because he would feel in normal circumstances he should win here, but there's pressure on, big pressure. Remember, the loser of this rack is out of the World Championship.
Yeah, here, don't overthink it. Just kind of go with your gut. Now, normally when you hit this shot, the tendency, if you do make a mistake, is to underhit it. Yeah, I don't think he got there. Yeah, big problems, because you're trying to really capture the speed rather than just swing the cue a bit. Trying to make things easy on yourself, and now quite the opposite. I think he's pretty tough here. It's amazing how that 9 on the spot plays such a big ball in so many scenarios. He's going to have to lay up and take a thin cut, maybe. Good to have those young eyes right here, David. Trying to see the edge of that black 8.
Absolutely. Well, these two youngsters have entertained us, and as I say, it's thin, but it's in his hands. But equally, it'll be out of his hands if he misses it. So that's where we are. 2 balls left, 8 each. Big pressure.
Yeah, up and down the table with the cue ball. Options on the 9, so really all about pocketing the 8. You're going to get the speed good enough usually.
No escaping the enormity of the shot here. Just preparing himself, composing himself. And in it goes. Oh, yeah. A little reset, I think, needed.
Yeah, and I didn't expect him to be this far away, actually. I thought, if anything, he may overrun a bit on the 9 and have to play it in one of the middle side pockets, but really smoothed that one in, and he's definitely got a tester. All these youngsters on the main tables, I love it. Our TV table, Bernie and Sam, and now Hill with Alvin and Karl Gnadeberg.
Well, he's pulled off one big shot. This is the biggest of them all, of course, because this is for the win. Karl Gnadeberg, can he knock it in? Yes, he can, and the little clenched fist, you can understand. A very, very dramatic win that for Karl Gnadeberg of Estonia. He'll be delighted. He had the lead. It was wiped out, but he's got over the line. Every credit to both. They really entertained us. A match full of incident, full of good stuff as well. Came right down to the last ball, and it's Karl Gnadeberg who gets the win. 9 racks to 8.